Good morning, guys. Okay, it's Monday, the 4th of February. I've just been triggered into a short position on the FTSE 100. So, first trade of the week, entered in after this 8:40 a.m. rejection pin bar. So as always with the live trade, I'll talk you through the analysis behind the trade. I'll talk you through trade management as we're sort of looking at the trade develop. If I'm making any decisions, I'll try and sort of vocalize what it is that I'm doing and why I am doing it. Now, coming into today on this market, we were testing into 7,016, this whole zone right here. Now, the market has already rejected up here once, twice. You could call this a third rejection at 7 a.m. and then we've pressed up, we've sort of dragged ourselves up early morning, and we have put in potentially a fourth rejection. Now, as we put in this rejection, we'd already had a little bit of a swing here right after the open. We then bounced, we started to roll over, and we started to see the rejection coming back in. So what I was really looking for was some sort of signal candle that was sitting on or just below that little previous swing. Why? Because then with my entry, I'm hoping that it's sort of breaking down below this swing. It's giving more room for the sellers to come in, and then really the next kind of support area I'd be watching would be down here. So basically I'm trying to find room for the trade. I'm trying to find clear roads for the trade because I have my analysis, but I don't like trading into sort of choppy price action levels. So let's look on the daily time frame also, and we'll have a look at the reason for this rejection area. So we are testing up into this whole section up here. Now this section up here is fairly choppy. We've also had one rejection, two rejections, and we're pressing up for a third time on the daily time frame. So we're hitting into potential resistance levels. We've already rejected a couple of times on a long-term sloping support and resistance area. We've had 1, 2, 3, 4 strong bullish days, and now we're testing into potentially a good area for profit taking for the buyers. And on top of profit taking, potentially the sellers looking to step back in and pull this market back down toward our sloping support level and the previous swings. So basically, I'm kind of looking at the move up. I'm thinking to myself, does this look like a good area for the buyers to continue buying? We've already had 4 very strong days. We're into the start of a new week. We're testing up into potential resistance areas. So potentially, it's a good area to look for the sellers stepping back in, at least profit taking. And if we're going to see profit taking, then potentially we'll see a move on this market back down toward at least the sort of MA 200s. I'll start watching really for support which would look to take me out of this trade at this whole area down here. So between this rectangle, let's get rid of this one. And we'll get rid of this. So looking for the breakdown, we actually got a little, you can see the little red arrow here. This is telling me that it's a potential candle that I can look for as an entry. That's not, it doesn't tell me, this is a trade. It just tells me that's one of the criteria. But it just wasn't quite right. So I wanted to wait for something with a little bit of a lower low, which we got on the next candle. As soon as we seen that, I was happy to get into this trade. Now, so far this year, it has been a really good year. I've been having really good runs of winning trades. And I'm sort of building up in my head the expectation that I'm overdue a loss. I'm sort of preparing myself for it. What I used to do when I was having runs of wins is, and I think a lot of people do this, they convince themselves that they have figured it all out. They are the sort of the champions of the market. Oh, I've been learning for however long and I finally got it. It's going to be easy from now on. And then what tends to happen is you get overconfident, overcocky. You tend to make poor decisions, and what happens? The runs of wins turn into runs of losses. I used to do it all the time. I used to make really poor decisions after I'd had 3, 4, 5 wins in a row, and the 3, 4, 5 wins in a row would then evaporate in the space of one trading day. So now what I do is, as I'm starting to get wins, I almost become I guess you would say maybe too cautious on a lot of entries because I want to keep the run of wins going for as long as possible. And I know that statistically I'm now overdue a loss. So I just tighten things up, I be a little bit more cautious, I mentally prepare myself, and then when I have the loss, all I'll do is sort of get away from the computer, have a little bit of a break, reset, remind myself that in the process of trading, I've had all those steps forward, and then I've had one step back. And what I want to then do is try and get back onto the road, making those steps forward before I have another step back. I don't want to allow all of my good work to be undone by one stupid trade. Okay, so what are we looking at here? Let's have a look. I'm looking for minimum of sort of 7 to 8 points. The reason I'm sort of checking is because the MA200 is pretty close. It's a key resistance level. The market has been very bullish though, so 7.5 points minimum. If we start to break down toward this whole section down here, I will most certainly get my stop to break even. Maybe a little bit earlier, maybe just before. Okay, so what I've got going on is an alert, which I'm just going to delete. So it's an alert on the DAX, which I'm obviously not looking to trade right now because I'm already in a trade on the FTSE. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the markets hopefully continue breaking down. If we get down to just up above these levels, I will bring my stop to break even. Then within this whole section down here, I will look to take profits. And what I'll do is I will pause the video at present, and then if we start to break down or press back up, I'll turn the video back on and we can start having a look and talk through what's going on. Okay, so market is pressing up. It is looking like it's about to stop me out on this trade. And you can see my stop level. When it gets to around about 10, 10.5, it should take me out for the loss. So just waiting to see if it is going to continue pressing up. I'm still happy with the analysis, happy with the entry. If it doesn't work out, just part of trading, as I mentioned. Had a pretty good run of trades, so I am overdue a loss. Okay, so I have been taken out for the loss. We didn't really get much of a bearish movement coming into the market, certainly not as much as I was hoping for. So there you go. Now back to watching the markets for another potential setup for today, and we'll see how we get on. Yeah, all part of trading. Unfortunately, you can't win them all. The losses will always catch up with you eventually. Okay guys, so as always, I hope that was helpful. I hope you're all having a good trading week. I'm James Orr, and thank you.